Now in this lecture we will see about the efficiency of half wave rectifier. So we saw the half wave rectifier construction, how it was working, the waveform and everything, so you understood, and now let us calculate how the efficiency of the half wave rectifier is. So when I say half wave rectifier, or that is the efficiency, the general formula for efficiency is, this is the symbol for efficiency, it is by output by input, and if you want it in percentage, let us multiply with 100. So output one. So in terms of electrical, whatever the circuit you design, not just the rectifier, any circuit you design, if you want to find the efficiency of the system, then it is absolutely, it is the output power by input power. So in electrical engineering, you determine the efficiency based on the output which is obtained, and with respect to the output what you the power what you have given. So the output power and the input power has to be determined before finding the efficiency, because it is as per the formula. So the output is DC, right? So the power is denoted as P, and since the output is DC, I am making it as PDC as the output power, and the input is AC, so input power is PAC. So I need to find PDC. So from here onwards I will be using PDC for output power or DC power, and PAC I refer to an input power. So this is the notification I will be using. So this is your formula that you require for this derivation. Okay, or I'll push it here. This is your required formula. So where this is your output power and this is your input power. So now let us see what is power. In generally, the power is given as voltage into current, and of course if you want to find the voltage into current, you should know the voltage and also you should know the current. Okay, so now let us take it. For in this diagram, the half wave rectifier, let me take the input voltage as, which is in AC, so I refer it as Vm sin omega t, where Vm is the maximum value of the maximum magnitude value, and sin omega t, this is a sine curve, so you will have it. And the output, let me take it as VDC or V0, whatever it is. Okay, we'll follow. Now we'll take it as, so we'll take it as V0 or VDC. We'll start the derivation. So in this derivation, let us assume it's the diode is a practical diode. So what is this practical diode? There are two types of diodes. One is for theoretical purpose, we will take as an ideal diode. So usually any conducting device will have an internal resistance. Only if you have an internal resistance, that will be act as a conductor. So practical diode means there is an internal resistance, or it's called as a forward resistance for any diode. That means that I am going to consider in this derivation as a practical diode, and at times even you will feel this in the difference in the problems, where at times the RF value will be given in the problem, so that it is considered as a practical diode. And in the ideal diode, they will not refer, or they will not give any value for RF. They will directly say it is an ideal diode, and in the calculation part you will not include it. So RFs, if I say it is RF, this diode is having an internal resistance RF, and this RF is now connected to this is the value of RF should be included with the load resistance also during the calculation. That's why I have taken it as a practical diode. So we'll understand in this way. And next, the load resistance, we'll take it as RL. So the load resistance is RL. So I'm going to assume these two things. So, and your input voltage, which is AC, VAC is given as Vm sin omega t. So this is also the value, and by default you will understand that the output voltage, which is either V0 or VDC, is nothing but that is during the first half cycle 0 to pi time period, the output V is the V0 will be the same as VAC, and during the time period from pi to 2 pi, that is the second half cycle, there is no conduction, so the output becomes 0. So now with this expression, if I am going to find the average voltage of the pulsating, this is called as pulsating because it looks like a pulse, on and off, so it looks like a pulse. So I am going to mention it as pulsating DC. So first derivation is like average voltage or output voltage or average voltage of the pulsating DC output. Okay, this is what we are going to say. So I am going to refer it as average, P average. So we will take it as VAV average, which is an output. So VAV is given as, the general formula is 1 divided by time, 1 divided by the full time period of conduction, and the integral from during the time period of the input value VAC into with respect to the theta. The theta is nothing but the angle, that is 0 to 180 degree and 180 degree to 60. Okay, so when I write this expression for the given waveform, so I will write it as, I'll take this waveform and help you how to write this. So this is a Vm. Okay, this level is Vm. This is Vm. You understand? This is Vm. So if I write this Vm here, so this is out of the total time period is 2 pi, which is t. Total time period is 2 pi. Okay, this t is nothing but 2 pi. So it is 1 divided by total time period is 2 pi, and the limit is, the total time period limit is 0 to 2 pi, and VAC can be given as Vm sin omega t, or since because I am using d theta, I will use it as sin theta d theta. Okay, so here also I can mention it as theta. Okay, so this is what. So if I expand, then I am going to split it for the first half cycle and the second half cycle. So 1 by 2 pi is common. So for the common thing, I am going to split it as, so first half cycle is from 0 to pi. First half cycle is 0 to pi. The Vm sin omega t, sin theta into d theta, plus the second half cycle is from pi to 2 pi, then the input value Vm sin theta d theta. Okay, but it is very clear during the second half cycle there is no conduction, the voltage does not appear, so this terms become 0. So obviously your equation will be rewritten as 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to pi Vm sin theta d theta. So if I integrate, so if I find the integration value, then let me take this Vm outside. So it is Vm, it's a constant, Vm by 2 pi integration of sin theta d theta from 0 to pi. So what is the integrated value? So we will have Vm by 2 pi, sin theta integration is minus cos theta. Sinus theta is minus cos theta, and the integration value, the limit is 0 to pi. So if I substitute the value of 0 to pi, we have Vm by 2 pi. So it is minus cos pi, minus of minus is plus cos 0. Okay, so then now after the substitution, cos phi and everything is minus of minus 1. So Vm by 2 pi, your cos pi is always minus 1. So minus of minus 1. So it becomes minus of minus 1 plus cos 0 is 1. So we have what? I'll put this bracket. So now it is 2. What you have is Vm by 2 pi into 2. So we'll cancel this 2 and 2, and you get your answer as your VAV. That output average voltage is Vm by pi. Vm by pi. So if I find the value of 1 divided by pi, pi is 1, we find the 1 divided by pi, which is 1 by 3.14, you will get it answer as, the final answer as AV can also be written as 0.318 into Vm. So this is the average voltage what you get the half wave rectifier. So what is the second thing? We found the voltage, so let us found the current also. Average current for pulsating output. So I will take that as IAV. So by Ohm's law, it can be given as, it is the resistance is R, right? So you have the resistance. The resistance is, we'll show it now here. So since we have the resistance of both this RF, which is connected in series to RL, we are going to include these two resistance for the output. So the total resistance will be RF plus RL. So this is so AV is nothing but 0.318 Vm divided by RF plus RL. Okay, so Vm divided by, let me take this one, Vm divided by the resistance can also be given as Im. So I can write the final value of IAV as 0.318 Im. Okay, so now your IAV is also, you got it. Okay, so since we are using a resistive load, this AV will also be, this is the average of the pulsating, it can be given as that is IDC, it can be also referred as IDC. Okay, so now when I come to let us found, so we have found the voltage and current. Let me find that power. So DC power, okay, DC power. So we know that PDC is equal to IDC square into RL, because this power is measured across only the load, not with not also, I'm not going to take that forward leaking resistance of the diode. This is the load resistance, where the power is measured only for the load. So IDC square is nothing but, so IDC can also be here written without the value, it can be written as Im by pi, it can be written as what, Im by pi. So IDC is also can be written as Im by pi. So let me substitute here the direct value of, that is Im by pi the whole square into RL. So that is your PDC. because I square R is also the formula for power, right? So output power will be one machine I square in I square R. So now for the input power, the next one is AC power or the input power. So the input power, which is PAC, is nothing but IRMS square into RL. That is because it is in AC side. So because considering from the AC side, I will consider what? Both the diode also. So it will be RF plus RL. So for the output side, it is with respect to the load, but for the input side, all the resistance should be included. So I square R is nothing, I square R is nothing, RMS is nothing, but I am going to now represent the input current in terms of a DC component. That's what I mean. IRMS, what is that? RMS value is nothing but representation of an AC value in terms of DC component. So RMS is going to be IRMS square is going to be that Im by 2. So usually the RMS value is being given as been also RMS IRMS is equal to Im by 2. It will be the half of the Im value. IRMS is always Im by, so we substitute that PAC is equal to Im by 2 the whole square into RF plus RL. Okay, so now you got your output power also, sorry, input power also. Now finally we will now find the efficiency. Therefore rectifier efficiency can be given as, this is a symbol, I will write it as half wave. Rectifier efficiency is your PDC divided by PAC. So what is PDC? PDC is Im by pi the whole square into RL divided by Im by 2 the whole square into RF plus RL. So I will remove the bracket and write it. So it is Im square into RL divided by, let me take the pi square to the denominator, then you have here Im square, 2 square in the denominator will go here to the numerator, let me put it as 4 in the numerator, then you have RF plus RL. So if I cancel it, the terms Im square will get cancelled, then you have only these two things will get cancelled, and then therefore you have 4 by pi square to RL by RF plus RL. So this is your the half wave, the efficiency of the half wave rectifier. So with this, if I want to find this 4 divided by pi square value, I will get it as 0.406 into RL divided by, small RF, the R should be small, RF plus RL, can use it. Okay, so from this it is very clear, whatever the value you put it here, so whatever the value you put it here for this RL, whatever your load or internal resistance you put it, your efficiency is going to be what? Just this 0.4 or the 40.6%. So almost your efficiency, you can directly write your half wave rectifier's efficiency is almost 40.6%. So 40.6% is the efficiency of your, that is the maximum efficiency. We say that is going to be the maximum efficiency of half wave rectifier. So whatever you do, you cannot achieve more than 40.6% of efficiency for the half wave rectifier. So that's why I told you the efficiency is very low in half wave rectifier. That is the only reason. And to further increase efficiency, we have another few circuits that you can learn in the next time. So in the next lecture, we will see about the next type of next type of rectifier.